Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially gotten started on the bodywork on our very first paint project, which is going to be a Firefighters Edition Road King from a friend of mine. He's been so gracious as to allow me to guinea pig his motorcycle, which he said needed a paint job, but paint was relatively nice on it. Anyway, we're about to get started with that. Without further ado, let's have a look at what we're doing with the bodywork. Getting ready to get started with some scrubbing. I've got all the motorcycle body parts laid out here on the floor. I've got the majority of the plasti dip removed from all the panels. However, there is still some plasti dip in all the little cracks and crevices, just around little parts like, this gas tank. You see it's around the edge of the gas tank there. When you get down here, down low, it's around all the little corners and edges, and can't quite get it all out. It's pretty difficult when it's laid on thin. So I got to get all this black off the edges so that I can get sanding and it not clog up my sandpaper. Anyway, got a bucket of water there. Got a rag to wipe off when I'm done. That's a spray bottle there with acetone and a toothbrush. So I'm going to clean these up best I can, and then the next step will be sanding. So without further ado, here we go. Okay, so these are the pieces that are going to require a little bit of work before I can sand on them. We have these two side fairing covers here. There's a little bit of uh, clear bra, as you'd call it, I guess, on the edge of this. I'm going to have to get some, or get a heat gun, and what I'll do is I'll just heat that up and peel that off. I'll show that process here in just a moment. So here's that piece. Same thing for that one also. And right here is going to be the rear fender for the motorcycle, and it has a little bit of damage. What we have here is, that's a gouge through the paint into the metal. A little bit further down, we have more gouges into the metal. There is a big crack through the fender. That's all the way through. I'm going to attempt to weld that to fix it, and then we're going to body fill afterwards. And then a little bit further down, we have another gouge through into the metal. Over here on the left, another gouge. I believe these came from the the covers on the back of the bike, which go between the seat and the fender, as well as the seat itself, rubbing. Again, that's the rear fender. This is the forward half of the rear fender, so this is not visible. All these parts down here are not visible. This one hole right here, this one gouge, that one is the only one that would be visible. So I'll just you know, touch these up down here pretty good, and I guess get it, you know, halfway decent. It doesn't have to be perfect. It won't be visible. The only dent I have found in all this body work is going to be right here on this fender. This is a tiny, tiny dent. If you see, if I move the light there, you see there's a little dent there. See a dent? I've got it circled. So I'm going to sand that down, put a little bit of putty on that. I'm going to block it down, make sure it's nice and smooth, no more dent. So anyway, on to the sanding. Alright, I got my heat gun out. I'm going to go ahead and hit these side covers with a little bit of heat and pull this clear bra off. Alright, so we are sanded down to metal on that fender there. That pretty much almost smoothed out. I'll put a little spot of putty on there. We have the clear bra removed and the residue sanded off. It's all gone. The Goo Gone wasn't really cutting it, trying to get that out of there. And I now have the fender sanded where the gouges were, and I may not need any putty on these once I sanded out the spots where they were messed up. So I will attempt to weld this crack. I'm going to try to weld the crack up and add some putty, smooth it out, and, you know, obviously grind the welds down. Anyway, stay tuned. I'm about to get on that. Alright, just spent a little bit of time with the welder. And here we are with some spot welds on our crack running up here. I'm going to break out the grinder and grind on it a little bit. Get it pretty smooth, and then see if we have any pinholes or anything else we need to touch up with the welder before I move on to body work. Alright, here we are with the welds grounded down. We had a couple very tiny pinholes. You can see a little bit of that crack there, but for the most part, it's pretty good. I'm gonna put a couple more touches on that centerpiece there and grind it down a little bit more, and I think we'll call it quits. Doesn't look too bad. All right, I have got the dents smoothed out for the most part. I'm going to be applying a little bit of body filler on the crack that was welded right there and ground. It's a little bit low. Put some body filler on this. First, before we do that, we're going to prep the surface with some wax and grease remover. So I've got some shop towels there and some wax and grease remover. Going to apply that, clean it up real good, and then we're going to apply a little bit of body filler. Okay, so as per the instructions for the body filler that I'm going to be using, it says for a golf ball size of body filler, we're going to use 1 1/4 inch of the hardener. I already know this. I'm just, helping folks who don't have any idea how to mix this stuff. There is a mix ratio. It explains it all in the directions on the back of the can of the body filler that you're utilizing. So let's get started. I've already mixed this up by squeezing the tube back and forth to make sure that the water and fluids inside of it's thoroughly mixed. We don't want it to go on liquidy or come out of the tube liquidy. Alright. It's about 70 degrees in here, so it should be adequate working time. It's going to harden up probably in about 5 minutes or less. Let's get it mixed in. We've got our body filler on and it is curing. I'm going to go ahead and move on to thoroughly sanding these side covers here. I'm going to hit them with probably 320 grit and prepare everything else for 320 also, or with 320, excuse me. All that over there. I'll come back to this and we'll sand on that here. Okay, we have reached a stopping point for today. I've got my fenders sanded. I've got the side plastic covers sanded. Body filler's been sanded on the fenders also. I got my heat shields there sanded. Front fairing has been sanded. The bag lids have been sanded. And the gas tank has been sanded. All I have left is the 2 bags. I am actually out of 320 sandpaper, and I need to go get some more. So this will be my stopping point for today, and I will get back on it again tomorrow. This is a dishwashing soap. It doesn't have any wax in it. It is a degreaser. I want to get the part as clean as possible. And I want to wash both top and bottom. Try to eliminate any dust. Once I get it in the booth and start to spray primer on it, I don't want any dust from the underside coming loose and getting in the air and landing on the paint or the primer. So here we are, washed up. Water run over it, all the contaminants off there. And we're clean. Well, I gotta say, Eastwood caught me slipping. I got all set up in the booth, got everything ready to go. Everything's in here, ready to rock. Got the camera in the corner. I got my water here so I can spray the floor down. Compressor over there is full. I've already got my paint out. Got my mixing cup on the counter here. Paint gun's ready to go. I've cleaned it. Everything ready to rock. Well, for those of you who do not know this, if you buy the Eastwood Concourse Pro paint gun kit that comes with the detail gun and a spray gun, it comes with various tip sizes, including we have a 1.3 tip. Obviously it's going to read backwards there because I'm on selfie mode. That's a 1.3 tip on that gun there. And then over here I have a 0.8 tip. And there is also a 1.7 and a 2.0 tip. Now here's the problem. Eastwood's own line of paint, which is down here in the floor, I've got there's primer there, there's single stage urethane, and then of course there's a 2-to-1 European urethane high gloss clear. All three of those recommend that you use a 1.4 to 1.6 tip size on your spray gun. See, this is a little frustrating for me because, well, I have a 1.3, which is obviously below 1.4, and I have a 1.7, which is obviously above 1.6. I reached out to Eastwood and they said you should not use a 1.7 with it, and I could reduce and use a 1.3, but I like to do things right, so I guess I'm gonna have to take a break from painting and order a 1.4 and a 1.5 tip so I can have something in there. To be continued. Stay tuned for part 2. I want to thank you guys for watching my channel, and as always, stay tuned for more content to come. And you're watching DIY Dozier. If you're new to the channel, click like and subscribe, and if not, then thanks for following along. See you next one.